Okay, so this adapter is going to be probably 21.7 millimeters.
And then whatever the distance is from that to the center light on the prism.
Yeah.
Guitar Players Planet.
156 bucks.
Yeah.
You see it in the papers, you read it every day. The riots and the fires going on in South LA. The muggers and the government, they're all wanting the same thing. They take you for your money, I whatever else bring. Well, I don't think I understand why we're making such fuss. And I don't think I understand what's come of all of us. And I don't think I understand why we're taking the world for granted. I just want to get right back to Guitar Players Planet.
Take man.
Guitar Players Planet. Guitar Players Planet. Guitar Players Planet. Guitar Players Planet. Guitar Players Planet.
Ready right after Jeff. Hello, everybody. What's going on over at AstroWorld? How's it going?
Hey, hey, hey.
Hey. We have the 70s now. Bring it up. Let me turn out this B section because I'm hearing an echo on mine. We got some early birds. We got Hangerbird that was asking me to come on. No, are we too early? No, you're not early.
Nope.
We are, of course, late as usual. Gary, hey, how you doing? What's going on? So yeah, let me see if this works. Nope, that don't work, and that don't work. None of my buttons work. Anyway, how's it going? So yeah, so we got some news, and I told Scott, Eric, you missed the conversation a little bit ago, but
Yep. Okay.
I got a comment on the YouTube site, and today, as a matter of fact, and
Okay.
basically what they said was that we should take lessons from TAIC, the Astro Imaging Channel, and some other things because we don't have a lot of guests on. Now, for a long time, we were banging out guests left and right.
Yeah, we were.
Our guest lists, for those of you who are new to the channel, some of our guest lists, or most of it, includes Doug Struble, TJ O'Connor, Adam Block, Ron Breacher, Tom Bramwell, just to name a few. However, Sean Nielsen. Oh my God! If I could.
Yeah, Sean Nielsen. Yeah.
So we've had quite a bit. So I saw the comment and I thought the person was right. So I threw out a lifeline, and it's somebody that we've been talking about getting on the show for a while. Pete Proul from IP for AP and Masters of Pix Insight. he has some news that he's going to want to promote, and he's going to be coming on a show sometime in August. So one Wednesday in August, date to follow. We will be having Pete Proul and maybe some other guys will jump in from Masters of Pixel. So you never know what could happen.
Nice.
So
nice.
You know who the only person left that we haven't had on a show is Warren, and I haven't.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say Warren Keller. Yeah.
Yeah, that's totally on my fault. I haven't thrown. So I apologize, Warren, if you're watching. So the invite's coming. so that's what we're doing. I see Aaron over there. Hi, Aaron. How you doing? So yeah, we're gonna do that. We're gonna start doing. I really want to have at least a guest every other month. We kind of, I don't want to say. We were just pummeling out the guests, and I thought we kind of didn't run out of resources, but just had too many things going on, I think, and we kind of got away from it. So I'm back on the horse. I'll be getting more guests. I think, I'm sure Pete Myers will be happy to come on from Woodland Hills, formerly of Optical Structures. So I'm sure you'll be on, and I'm sure any of the other guys that I know, the ones that have been on before, the Rons, the TJs, the Toms, I'm sure they'll be on. I know for a fact Tom from Prima Luce wants to come on and show off the new Beta Arco that he had, that he's been posted all over Facebook. So that's something that I'm definitely looking forward to.
Okay.
Another thing we're always looking forward to, at least for the next month, is the Cherry Springs unofficial, unsanctioned AstroWorld Star Party. And we have just got our official 10th person that is booked a room. So that's our 10th person. Now, as we get closer and closer to the Cherry Springs unofficial, unsanctioned AstroWorld Star Party, I'm gonna try and get there and put a banner up there so they know kind of where we are, and just just to promote a little bit of what we're doing. So that's gonna be the last week in August or first week in September, which is Labor Day weekend. So keep an eye out. Go grab on the website. Email. There you go. Sorry, Scott. There's the email and the website. So look at the website, see what we got going on. The Cherry Springs Star Party information is not up yet. It's still being constructed, but look for it in the coming weeks.
Nice.
Look at Scott's face. Nope. There we go. Scott has a face again. There you go. Thank you, Scott, for being so understanding. Jim came back on. There you go. How you doing, Jim? And what's the other thing? The last thing I got off the top of my head is the Southern Sky Challenge Round 2. Not taking off with a blast like the last one did. So if you want to donate, and remember what we're doing, if you don't know what the Southern Sky Challenge is, basically what we're doing, we built a relationship with the people over at Telescope, and they're allowing us to pool our money in order to get data for some objects that we can't really get from mid-northern latitudes. So last one we did, we got 6 hours worth of the Tarantula Nebula, and I believe it was Bortle 2 skies with a 10-inch RC, if I remember right. I could be wrong, but I think that's what it was. And it looked great. We had 3 winners, and they won stuff like a $100 gift certificate to Camera Concepts, $100 to Explore Scientific, and I had 2 separate 1-hour tutorial sessions with Ron Breacher from Masters of Pix Insight. So look more.
Some good prizes, man.
Yeah, man. Look more for that stuff, because this is not gonna. I hope it's not gonna go away. I hope we keep on getting and all the donations that people make go straight to Imaging Time. There is nothing, we take nothing, it goes right to it. So the more people that donate, the more time we get, the better the picture and the data and the signal to noise we're going to grab. So just keep an eye on that. Again, if you wanted to donate on that, it's PayPal at AstroWorldWeb.com. And I think that's all I have for news. I've spoken for about 8 minutes, so let's. I mean, I could talk forever. Forget it. I could just babble. But
right.
let's talk about what the target was. We actually we were talking about last Wednesday. We were talking about the first accessories that you should get for Schmitz.
Yeah.
And if I remember right, Eric said a reducer. Scott said a focusing aid of some sort. And I said dew straps, dew heater, some sort of dew control system. So now we're going to change it up. We're going to go to the length instead of the girth. And we're going to go towards the refractors. And so let's switch it up this time. We'll go with Scott first. Scott, you don't have a refractor, so you may be kind of a little off here. But if you were to get a refractor, disregarding the stuff we said before, we'll take dew. Even though dew is a problem, we'll say that was said already. But talk about what you might get first when you're trying to image with a refractor.
Yeah, if it didn't already have it built in, I know some of the better, the more high quality scopes have it built in. I would say a good quality field flattener.
Yep.
Okay, so
that would be me too.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. I know that's something that we've spoken about at length on a number of shows, flatteners.
Yes.
But what does I guess for the new viewers out
14 to 24, I believe, and at 14 millimeter, everything is distorted. Now you're not going to get it that bad in a telescope, but you're still dealing with glass, and glass elements, and those elements are not necessarily flat. The idea is to mitigate the kind of stretching effect that you get at the edges of your image. So your stars at the edge of your image are going to be kind of elongated. If you don't have something to correct for that. The nice thing with the edge, just to put a plug in for the Celestron product, is that they have built into their SCTs now it's got what in essence is a built-in field flattener. It's the way that it's constructed so that the outside edges of your frame are nice and sharp. The stars are nice and round in the edges, just like they are towards the center. Because the mirror on that is not flat. The mirror is concave. So it's going to stretch. It's going to stretch your edges. It's going to distort your edges. And they've gone a long way to fixing that with the Celestron product. That's why they're so popular. But with the refractor, you're dealing with lenses, right? And Eric just put up a thing, talking about his reducer and the engineering drawing in that. It has a cross section that shows you the different elements in that reducer. And you look at that, and those glass elements have curvature to them, and so it's going to help to take that aberration, not aberration, but it's going to take that the stretching effect out. And you really want that, because the last thing you want to do is get a beautiful image and you have to crop a whole bunch of it out because your stars on your edges are all eggy or elongated, and it looks goofy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with the refractor, basically what you're combating is that curvature on your lens in the front of your refractor. Because if you take a look at your refractor, the lens is curved, just like your eyeball. It's curved. And because it's curved, it's kind of like looking through a fishbowl, almost, kind of. Where the stuff right in the center is in perfect focus, and he's going to go get a fishbowl.
No, not a fishbowl.
Oh, okay.
Fish eye.
Oh, fish eye. Okay, it's close enough. But the stuff in the center is going to be dead on good. And because of that curvature in your refractor, you need something to combat that. So everything hits your sensor at the same pace.
Yep,
and that's
exactly.
what you're doing. We got some comments from my buddy George. Hi, George. How you doing? Good petzval or quintuplet is good to go field-wise. Absolutely.
Because
go ahead, Eric.
Yeah, because the thing is that, at least from my understanding, is that you get that curvature more. You get that curvature, that effect of that curvature more often when you're using doublets, especially doublets, but even in triplets, even in certain triplets, that's where you're getting it. But the more elements, the more glass that is there. Say if you have a petzval, which is I believe four, or you have a 5 element. You know, they usually say, for example, a William Optics Red Cat. A William Optics Red Cat is a petzval apo refractor, and I don't believe, and it does, because of that, the field, and it's a great wide field refractor. It's 51 millimeters, and it gives you 250 millimeters of focal length. It gives you a very nice flat field. You don't need a reducer for it, and that's how it is with many other of the newer, higher, more +4, 5, 6 element type of refractors. You don't need that reducer. Because you have that additional glass versus a triplet or a doublet. Doublets are very well known, for having that curvature.
Yeah, I mean, doublets and triplets both have curvature and both need to be combated.
Yes.
The triplet, what that really helps with is the chromatic aberration.
Yes.
That you're getting, because all waves of light don't focus at the same plane. So what they do is they add a third piece of glass to bend all the light so they all reach your sensor at basically the same time. Yeah, it's pretty close.
Same time.
So I believe, and somebody could correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it's mostly the blue that needs to be corrected the most. I might be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure I'm right about that. I believe I did a video about it, actually, between the apos and acros. but that's what that is. But, one of the things that you may want to check out to see if you have that horrible curvature, other than the fact of looking at a picture, there's something called CCD Inspector. And in ASTAP, which is the astronomy stacking program, I believe it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a free version of CCD Inspector in it. It's not a fully functional, full-blown, program, but it will give you stats on tilt and that curvature, which was Scott's pick for the first thing to get with a refractor, and that would be the flattener.
Flattener.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. The big thing with the going to 3 lenses, 3 elements versus 2 elements is and the way that it's don't forget the coatings on those as well. The coatings are very, very important. But if you look at a cross section of how the light enters into your lens, with something that doesn't deal with chromatic aberration, where your RGB are coming into focus, that focus point is shifted for each one of those colors.
Correct.
In order to get the whole thing in focus. So and that's why when you look at something, you look at a picture that has a lot of chromatic aberration in it, you look at the fringes, of certain objects and things, and you can see that color fringing.
Yeah,
I deal a lot with that.
The biggest one of the biggest things that have that are moon shots taken with a
Oh
doublet.
yeah. Big
Most
stars.
doublets. I don't want to say all doublets because the William Optics that are fluorite have done an awesome job. I know, Eric, you could talk a little bit about that because you have
Yeah, they do.
one or two of them.
I have, yes.
Oh, you still have? Okay. I thought you
I
got
have
rid of
had them. Yes,
Oh, you have
I
had
did get
them,
rid of
yeah.
them. I don't no longer have them, but I had both. I had
Yeah.
a triplet and I had a doublet.
Yeah,
You
so-
know, and yeah, that is very true. That you do have that shift, that
Yeah.
color shift.
Yeah, but
You know,
again,
especially when I had my Zenith Star 126 is a doublet. You know, you have, you know, that's the name they call their doublets is
Yep.
Zenith Star, and the Gran Turismo and Flora Stars are their triplets.
Right.
But yeah, my doublet, it did have that quite a bit. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, those are it's the brighter ones where you see that it's called violet fringing, and basically it's the blue not being corrected, so you're starting to see that nice blue halo, which nobody likes.
Around the stars.
Yeah,
So-
around the stars.
Yeah, brighter stars. Even Venus has it. You know, it's pretty ugly. But I know a lot of people that have taken some awesome shots with doublets, so I don't want to shoot them down. But they're really good. They're good.
No,
Yeah,
I had
you
some
can
really good
correct
success
those.
with my doublet.
Yep.
You can correct for that chromatic aberration, you know, in
Sure.
software. You know, Photoshop has all kinds of tools for correcting that. But if, you know, the rule of thumb in imaging, you know, at least it's my rule of thumb, is you know, the more you can get it actually in camera,
Yeah.
you know, coming through your scope, and you don't have to correct for it in software, the better.
I agree.
Yeah. Yep.
So
George actually
that, by
said,
the way, is a fisheye. And it
looks
might
flat
be
to
kinda-
me.
It might be kind of flat there, but if I turn it this way,
There you
Turn
go.
it. There it is.
That's the dome
Is that
head.
is that a 14 mil?
that's the 14 to 24 Nikon f2.8. Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah, this is an absolutely phenomenally good landscape lens. I have
Oh,
two
yeah.
similar. I have a 17 to 34, and I've got this 14 to 24, and I love them for landscape work.
Oh, yeah,
George
that's for sure.
actually said, I wish the field flatteners and reducers on the market had bigger camera side openings. I don't know. How big do you want? Because I've seen some big ones out there. Including
'cause
the
usually-
William Optics is huge.
Mhm.
And on Telescope Express, they have a bunch of M48 and higher. They have
Yeah.
M54. I think they have M63, but if not, I'm pretty sure the William Optics has on the camera side.
Yeah, on the camera side, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they were like M48 and maybe a little bit larger, but I think most of them were like M48.
Yeah, maybe they
size.
went up to 54.
But on the but on the opposite side, you know, of course, because they you know, especially with William Optics, they customize theirs, you know, specifically
scopes.
for their scopes, you know. So you've got them that are, you know, M54, M63, M93, you
Yeah.
know. So yeah, on the other side, but yeah, I want to say there may be some M54 on this camera side, but I think most of them are like 48, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I'd have to check.
Yeah, you're probably right. But again, you could always, you can't really pop it open, unfortunately. But, you know.
Yeah.
I know there's
a lot of
54s
those-
out there on Telescope Express. I know that for a
Yeah,
fact.
because I know, if I'm not mistaken, there's a few of them that you can actually open on a side, and you can actually thread in an M48 filter within the reducer, and then close it back up, and then put your camera on.
Yeah, so the collar, just like the Esprit has the collar, and inside the collar you could screw in the filter, and then you still got the M48 male on the other side.
Yes,
So
correct.
yeah, the better field flatteners have that option, because that's the last thing you want to do is add more
Now,
space.
Yeah. Now Mark was saying here they need to cover full frames like the ZWO 6200 and the 600s. Some of them actually, their imaging circle. I believe William Optics. I know pretty much theirs. They have where they can fit a full frame in their imaging circle. So I know
That's my dog.
I
Sorry.
believe the new flat the flat 7A and
That's the
the
big one.
6833. Yeah, those are
Yeah.
the slightly larger ones. They can support full frames if as far as on the imaging circle side, but I have to double check. And I know William Optics brought out a newer, slightly smaller reducer for the GT71s, and I think it was the flat 6A3. They had the old flat 6A2, and I think the
I have the
6A3.
683.
Yeah, and I think that one might be able to also support a full frame.
Yeah,
I'm
but
not 100% sure.
you gotta be careful with what people call full frame.
Full frame.
And
Yeah.
because I'll be dead honest with you, full frame. I bought my S-Big 4 years ago, and I bought it. I just saw full frame and I bought it. I didn't look at it. I was an S-Big, so it's kind of like I bought the cheapest Portron on the lot. So that's what I did. So I bought it, and then I got it, and the chip is 4/3. So so it's not full frame. And I'm looking at, let's see, full frame 30 APS.
Full frame is 35 millimeter.
Yeah, but oh, my dog won't be quiet. I'm sorry, guys, but
It's not that loud.
Yeah.
and
I mean, if he was in the room, might be a problem, but
let's see.
yeah, the full frame is great, but you're running into other issues full frame as well. Unless you are really fully committed to what you're doing here, you got to understand that first of all, full frame, you're looking at a $4,500 investment for one camera.
Yeah.
Not only that, you have to run 50 plus millimeter filters, and your filter drawers, you're going to want to get it as close to that sensor as you can, so that you reduce the amount of vignetting that you're going to get. So there are ways around it. It's not cheap. 50 millimeter filters, you can spend on a full set of 50 millimeter filters, good ones. You could buy a whole full frame camera for what that costs.
I'm just looking, what's the diagonal on a full frame? I'm trying to find it.
It's a squared times b squared equals c squared.
Yeah,
so
okay.
it's Pythagorean's theorem, man.
Yeah,
Come on.
yeah.
Basic math.
He died.
You're welcome.
I forgot that as soon as I learned it.
Yeah, it's like 28 millimeters, something like that, on the diagonal.
28 on the diagonal. Huh. All right.
No, wait a minute. No, that's
that can't
that's
be
not
right.
right. That's not right.
43
no,
on.
yeah, no, that's.
yeah.
I'm sorry, that's not right.
Yeah, I think it's 43 or 44.
Yeah, 43, because the diagonal. Yeah.
Yeah.
square times b
So
squared.
that being said, I mean, a 48 opening may not be big enough.
Mhm.
You may
You're
not
gonna have to
get the
get your
corners.
filter drawer real close.
You're going to need
to
a
the sensor.
54 millimeter in the back,
Yep.
50 millimeter or bigger filters, which is
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah, 36 by 24. So
Yeah, I know it's 36 by 24, but anyway.
a squared times b squared
so-
equals c squared.
So, Eric,
Yes.
you have had and
Whoops.
went through plenty of refractors.
Yeah.
What was the first thing
have.
that you would get? I mean, but obviously, we got the flattener out of the way. What would you get after that?
Well, for me, I would, and I don't know if you would probably, I don't know if you would put them in the same category. You can put them in the same category as a flattener, but maybe a reducer.
Okay.
because and a lot of field flatteners, especially when they come with refractors, are combo
Yeah.
flattener and reducers. And the most common ones are probably 0.7 or 0.8.
Correct. Yeah.
And they give you even a slightly wider field versus your native focal lengths. So for me, I would probably say the reducer would be would be what I would purchase. And a lot of them actually, like I said, they come with it. They come included with your purchase. Because I know my William Optics GT71, it came with the adjustable 8x 0.8 field flattener / reducer.
Yeah, well, just so none of our Esprit fans out there get a little annoyed, the Esprit reducers, flatteners are non-reducing flatteners. So, just so you know that, that's all.
Yeah. So that is what I would probably, because we've talked about even with the SETs, because there's a lot of things that are in common with, those first things that you get, the a dew strap, a bat and a focusing mask, stuff
Yep.
like that. So I would probably say maybe that reducer
Okay.
would be my second thing, unless it comes with my flattener. And sometimes I actually purchased a Hotech
Sure.
SCA
Yes,
flattener
yeah. Yep.
for my 126 millimeter because William Optics did not make just a straight at the time.
1.0, right?
Yeah, 1.0. Now they do. I mean, it's the flat 7A. But at the time they didn't. And no, and it was for the GT71, sorry. And so I wanted that extra, that extra reach when I was first starting out, because here I had, this foreign, my 71 millimeter refractor had a native focal length of 420,
Right.
but all I could get was the reducer flattener combo, which dropped it down to 336. But sometimes I wanted that extra reach,
Extra 100,
for
yeah.
that extra 100, that extra reach for one reason or another.
Yeah.
Which was kind of a bummer.
Yeah, and that's why I did the same thing that you did. I can't take the credit for it. Simon, another affiliate of AstroWorld that lives out in New Zealand, pointed me to a 1.0 non-reducing flattener from Telescope Optics, Telescope Express. And it's an M48 in the back, and it was M63 on the front, so it fit right into my William Optics manual rotator, which was sweet. But it's 1.0, and it's adjustable, so it's got that adjustable if you need that 1 millimeter because you have 54 instead of 54 instead of 55 or whatever.
5.
You could just pull it out, and it's got 20 millimeters of expansion that you could do with it, which is ridiculous. I mean, I wouldn't put it that far. I think I'm looking at it right now. I have it at 9, and that seems to be good for my setup. But I didn't want to give up. To your point, Eric, I don't want to give up the reach of the 952 millimeters, even though it's still f7, and it's it's medium speed, I guess you would call it. It's not super slow. Right. It's not super fast. I can live with f7. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
But if anything else, I need like f20 because of my light pollution. So,
Now, one thing that we haven't really talked about as far as something that starting out that I think no matter if you have a Schmidt or a refractor or whatever kind of telescope you have, one thing I would definitely consider to have in your toolkit is a digital caliper.
Here we go. Scott doesn't use the digital. Here we go. He's going to show this old thing.
He's got the old school.
I bet
He's got the old school.
Don't even work. It's all
Oh,
broken.
what are you talking about? It doesn't work.
Yeah. Come down here and show me what a millimeter. No, don't show me. I don't need you to.
This is down into dial caliber thousands. Okay,
Yeah,
it's coming out
yeah,
of a machinist tool chest.
yeah.
Machine, whatever.
Doesn't
Machine,
work.
machinist, caliper. But yeah, that would be
Exactly.
one big thing that I would have in my toolkit. Is one of the first things I actually purchased when I got my camera, especially when I got in the AP.
Yeah.
When because that because it's sometimes it can be that back focus can sometimes be so critical and so important. It can make the difference in your image.
Yeah.
Even by that, sometimes pending it could, by that 1 millimeter.
Yeah.
So sometimes you have to be really really precise.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Which is sometimes
yeah.
which can sometimes be a little ridiculous.
Yeah.
But you know what? Like you say, but like I just said, sometimes it makes a difference on how your image comes out.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think rule of thumb, you got to be somewhere within minus 0.5 to plus 0.5, somewhere in that.
Somewhere
range.
in there.
It depends.
Yeah.
It's different on every scope. Some have a tolerance or even up to a millimeter or two, but that's not normal. So usually, 1/2, something like that. Is usually acceptable, but you're really not going to know. To Scott and Eric's point, you're not going to know what it is until you take a picture.
Right.
Once you take a 5-minute shot and see that your stars are good, or a 3-minute shot and your stars are good,
Yep.
you'll know what your spacing is good. And once you have it, the thing that's great about the adjustable flatters is once you have it, you lock it down, and as long as you don't hit your telescope or something, you don't have to worry about it anymore. You don't have to worry about it.
Exactly.
Okay. For all of you geeks out there that think that I don't have anything cool.
You don't have anything cool.
As far as
nothing cool.
calipers. I don't know if I can. Can I get?
Scott's making up for his coolness buying big telescopes.
Yeah, there you go. Well, I like Bill Engvall. I was cool for 2 seconds.
Yeah, well, you had 2 seconds more than me.
Yeah. There is. I can't. The link for this is too big. From Amazon, but if you go to Amazon and look up Starrett electronic caliper measuring tool, that's the one I would recommend. And that, of course, will do thousands. It'll do millimeters. It'll do whatever. But it's if you're looking for precision, stay with Starrett. Yeah, you can't go wrong with Starrett. Starrett's been an industry leader in measuring devices forever, literally forever.
All right.
So just
and you know what? If you have the link for that,
no.
Yeah, but you know what? If you have the link for that, throw that in the
for
chat. Go in the chat and see if you got the link for that caliper. So
the link is way too damn big.
Yeah, you copy it and put it in the chat box.
I tried.
Oh.
It won't let me.
Alrighty.
It's 200 character minimum.
Okay.
Yeah, it's big. It's
maximum.
I'm just looking at it
maximum.
No problem.
It's monstrous.
Yeah, I'm just actually looking at
it's easy
it.
to find.
It's crazy.
It's Starrett. Starratt. Starrett.
Okay.
Yeah, Starrett electronic calipers. They are hands down the best. The best.
Yeah.
Okay.
We got our first question, it looks like. There seem to be 0.5 reducers online, but they are always cheaper than the 0.7 or 0.8. Are the 0.5 reducers a gimmick?
You know what? I have 0.5 reducers.
Yep, I've had them.
And they're not a gimmick. I don't necessarily, and I could be wrong, so correct me if I'm wrong. But from what I've learned, and I've used, and I've tried it, I think they're not really intended for AP. I think they're it could be more, for visual. Because there are some reducers out there that are actually that you can use more for visual. Am I not mistaken?
Well, I think at a certain point, the reducers can be used for double duty. It's not
Okay,
necessarily
okay.
for one for imaging, one for observational. From what I
Okay.
understand, I could be wrong.
Okay.
So if somebody wants to yell at me, go right ahead. But at a certain point, and I remember with the Meade 3.3 reducer, which is ridiculously low, 0.33. It's out of control. That you couldn't use for visual because the vignetting was so intense that most eyepieces couldn't handle it.
Yep.
Okay.
So once you start bringing it down from its native f-stop, from my understanding, there gets to be a certain point where it becomes not usable for visual anymore.
Okay.
And depending on your chip size, your vignetting will get bigger and bigger and bigger because you're pumping out that wider field of view, and all your lights being kind of smashed into the center of that that reducer
Okay.
to get that super fast speed. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I'm following you. I'm
Yeah,
following
no,
you.
I'm, just,
Okay.
I'm hoping I explain. I'm looking for some verification of what I'm saying might be right. But so when you get down to the 0.5s, from 0.4s to 0.33s, it gets really, really intense. And your focus needs to be pristine, perfect. Like
Yeah.
you need to have. Forget about a bat. I mean, I'm no good with batting off masks. I'm sure they're great, but I'm no good with that. I am more of that lazy person that needs that automated focuser, and that's why I'm going to go with Mark's suggestion for the third thing, even though it was Scott's thing, the second thing last time. Nothing beats a good focus. You need to have a focuser.
A good focuser.
And a good one. I mean, there are some refractors, and I won't say the names. The people that are telescope and refractor users know what I'm talking about. But there are some refractors out there that come out with less than stellar focusing rigs on the back of their scopes, and they suffer from things like lag, miscollimation, and other things. And they go, Scott pulling something else out of his bag.
Slop.
Yep, slop, which is basically the bending or the sliding. Not the it's the sliding
sliding.
of the tube. The sag is the bending of the tube because of the weight of your stuff. Now, with something like what Scott is showing us, you're not going to get that. Up to
No.
a certain weight, you're not going to get that. But that is a feather touch focuser, and it's. Well,
Yes, it
there you
is.
go. That's a feather touch focuser, and it's made for the Schmitz, I believe, right?
Yeah, but what's neat about these, and let me just angle this down so you guys can see it better. What's neat about these is that you can take the back off. So you just loosen these 3 screws, 270 degrees each, and this whole thing, and basically all you have to do is get a new one of these, and you can swap it from scope to scope. It's got a pretty deep dovetail.
That seems more than 270 degrees. I don't know.
270
Yeah, wow.
degrees each.
That's
270,
more
270,
than
270 is 360.
540 degrees.
Yeah, it's got a lot of travel on these
Yeah.
screws.
Yeah.
But this whole thing, pulls off.
Yeah.
All right, and you can just replace the back. So you get that back for whatever scope you need, and then this thing will literally fit in there, and you tighten it down, and you're good to go.
That's awesome.
And you can use it for any scope that you need.
And it rotates.
Yep.
Nice.
That's good.
It's a built-in rotator.
Yeah, exactly. So
So as far as
I've actually considered selling this, but the more I think about the future refractor,
I think it's still up
I
there
think
on cloudy nights.
it is. But
Not getting any
I
hits.
probably
But
no. I'm probably just gonna keep it.
probably just charging too much, but that's okay.
So
But as far as the 0.5 being a gimmick, I don't think it's a gimmick. I don't think it's
a gimmick.
I don't think it's a gimmick.
No.
I don't think it's a gimmick. But
You just
I
got to
think-
be careful.
Yeah, I think they're
Because to
harder
your
to
point,
use.
Yeah, I think they're slightly harder to use, and you just got to be careful, especially like to your point. Your focus has to be dead on,
Yeah.
probably to the
Yeah.
lower you go on that, and you're yeah, that's what I would say is just make sure that focus is as good as you can get it,
Yes.
and then some.
So we're about 45 minutes in. I just want to talk because in the beginning, when I was doing my 8-minute spiel, there wasn't a lot of people watching, so I'm going to repeat some of the stuff that I said in the beginning. Really quick though, I'm not going to waste 8 minutes. But take number one, we're going to have more guests. We have Pete Proul from IP for AP and Masters of Pix Insight coming on in August. So definitely check that out. Check out the website very soon. There's going to be more updates coming regarding Cherry Springs Star Party, the unsanctioned, unofficial, on whatever AstroWorld Star Party, which is going to be the end of August or the beginning of September, the other 2 weekends. And the Southern Sky Challenge. If you want to donate at PayPal at astroworldweb.com. You can donate whatever you want, and all the money goes to imaging time at iTelescope, and we're going to be imaging Eta Carina. So that's all. 1 minute, and I'm done. And all right, so we got some more questions. Mark,
Yeah.
of course, is throwing Moonlight in there. Mark's just saying that. Well, Mark, you can't compare that. You can't compare your Nightcrawler to, which is $3,500, to a $1,000 Feather Touch focuser, which is that type is what he's holding. Now, the top of the line Feather Touch focusers, I would say, are pretty good compared to Moonlight. They're pretty damn good. There's nothing wrong with them. A little bit more expensive than Moonlight. I'm a Moonlight fan myself. I have two. But Feather Touch at Starlight Instruments puts out a great product. I can't say anything negative about them. If I was going to say anything negative about them, is that maybe they need to come down a little bit in price. But as far as construction and quality, they're equal to Moonlight as far as the quality of their machinery.
Yeah, all you have to do to convince yourself on whether or not it's a good investment is to hold one of them in your hands. You know, you put something like this in your hands and you realize, yeah, okay, I can understand why that was, $700. You know, it's just buttery smooth. I mean, it's just buttery smooth. It's made incredibly well. The powder coating on it is just, I mean, it's a high gloss powder coating. The machining on it is just top notch. My brother is a machinist. He works at a company up here, a big company called Gleason's, and he's one of their head machinists. I showed him this, and he's like, "Yeah, that's obviously made very, very well." That's coming from a guy that's in the industry, not necessarily the telescope industry, but in the machining world. Things like this, yeah, you get what you pay for, and all you got to do is put that in your hand, and you've got something.
And that's with everything. I mean, I'll tell you, we say it how many times on every show?
Yeah.
Cry once, buy once.
Buy once, cry once. That's exactly
once,
right.
And it's so true, because I know so many people that come in and say, "Oh, I want a telescope, and I want to do astro imaging," and spend $230 on a LCM 114 single fork Celestron, and finally figure out that that's not going to work. So they jump to a 4-inch Mac or a 6-inch Schmidt.
Yeah.
And they find out, on Long Island at least, that's not going to work.
That's not going to work.
No, that's not going to work either.
So now you've already spent, with all the other stuff, you probably spent about $1,600 between the two scopes. Yeah. And you could have bought an Esprit 80 for $1,600. Those are the type of things that you kind of. But I have this conversation a lot, and maybe you guys could chip in on this. And I know we talk about this you need to be 100% honest with yourself on what you want to do, what result you want to get, and how deep do you want to go.
Yeah.
I mean,
Pretty
it's
Agreed.
you know, you got to be realistic with what you're getting. You're not going to get Hubble Space Telescope pictures with a 114 LCM with a single fork mount. Not going to happen. But
No. But conversely, you don't have to spend $30,000 either.
no, I
Yeah.
don't want to scare anybody away from doing iPhone astronomy. There's
Right.
you search on the web iPhone astronomy, and I am a god about what is out there. It's amazing what these people are doing with an iPhone and an XYZ on a 6-inch Schmidt, getting these planetary photos. I mean, it's really good.
Yeah. But to Dan's point, if you're you're honest with yourself, and I think the very first thing you have to do is decide what kind of imagery you want. What kind of imaging do you want to do, and where is going to be 90% of your image capture? Is it going to be in your driveway at Portal 7? Are you committing to go to a dark sky site? Where are you imaging from, right? What is your sky conditions?
Right.
What is your light pollution realities, and then decide, am I going to be spending most of my time here in these conditions? Then you need to get the kind of telescope to be able to image it that.
Yeah.
Right, and then once you do that, then you're talking about it. Like for Dan, for instance, he's not going to shoot, primarily wide field. He's not going to do stuff like that. I mean, he gets 20 seconds in, and he's got so much sky glow, that he can't even process it out.
This is the Portal 8 smile.
Yeah,
That's it.
it's crazy.
You know what? It might be 9. I don't know.
And that's why, to Dan, to your point, Scott, that's why you'll never see Dan realistically. I don't think so. Dan,
What's that?
buy a Schmidt.
No.
An image with a Schmidt.
When I moved
Not
to the
until it gets to a different-
Carolinas,
Yeah,
Not until you
when he
get to a
moves
different
location.
spot. When he was in a different,
he's gotta
but
be
as of
below
right now,
5.
living in Long Island, living in Long Island, you won't see him with a Schmidt.
no, I did it twice. I did it twice, and I was so disgusted. I'm frustrated. It was not fun. It was not fun. But I did get some good pics with that at Cherry Springs, I gotta say. But you're right. You're right, Eric. There's no way that I would even think about it. I barely think about doing RGB. I was talking to Tyler today, and I was flirting with what he was flirting with, the UBVRI. I was thinking about getting photometric filters because of the light pollution here. But some other friends talked me out of it.
Because a perfect example of another person who's in your situation is Chuck Ayub.
Yeah.
Chuck, from Chuck's Astronomy, you see what he uses. He has an 8SE.
Yep.
He has in his 3127.
Yep.
He's got a Rasa, a 120. He's got a Rasa 8.
Yep.
And now he's looking at possibly, if he hasn't gotten it already, he's looking at getting maybe a Red Cat. All of these are relatively, with the exception of the 8SE, these are relatively fast scopes. Okay.
Short focal length.
And they're short focal length with the exception of the 120.
Yep.
But he uses, like his 8SE, he primarily uses that for planetary and for solar. And he might be moving away from that a bit more and maybe moving more towards a dedicated solar camera, solar scope rather.
I think he's got one already. I think he's got one.
He may already have one. Yeah, he may have like a Daystar or a Lunt. But
I think he got the one.
Yeah, but that's why it's like you have to understand what your sky conditions are, where you live is going to play a huge part of your decision making of what you're going to purchase. To you guys' point, buy once, cry once.
Yep.
And that's the thing, is that where many people, we always recommend to maybe start out with a fast refractor, because a fast refractor will work almost anywhere,
Yeah.
versus an F10, light bucket
Yeah.
like a Schmidt, So, and I'm actually planning on doing a bit of a beginner tutorial on Schmidt. I'm starting to actually work on it for my channel to help people out as far as just making these decisions on why on starting out, if you're going to start out with a Schmidt, some things you might want to consider and think about. But anyway, that's one of the big reasons, is that I really strongly recommend starting out with a refractor, man. Especially at least for AP. I mean, the Schmidt's great for, my 8SC, love my 8SC, especially when I got started, perfect for visual. It's a great visual scope. It's a great all-around scope. But it takes some work to get to, to really use it and to get used to it and to learn it.
Yeah, Jim Zastro was talking about the Explore Scientific 127 carbon fiber.
Mm-hmm.
You know what?
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
I had for a short time. I had the 152. It's a great scope and it's light. Those carbon fibers are crazy light. I mean, that 152 was just 20 pounds. What's Dan got going on here?
There it is.
He's trying to point at it.
That's the
He's pointing to it.
carbon
Yeah,
fiber.
it's 127. It's carbon.
With all the rest of the garbage on that table.
Yeah, but you have to, going back to the whole idea of what kind of buy once, cry once, what kind of money, outlay. If you're just going to go out and look at planets, if you're just going to go out and look at the moon, observationally, you're just going to use eyepieces and so on and so forth. Get a dab.
Absolutely.
Get a dab.
Absolutely.
But if you're going to go into astrophotography, you want to take pictures of sky objects and things. You cannot kid yourself about costs. You just can't. I mean, it will be more expensive in the long run if you don't buy really good stuff initially. You will wind up spending more money replacing bad stuff with good stuff.
And
you don't want to do
mention, let's not lose the frustration factor that you're gonna have, because it's gonna happen. You're gonna end up like me. This is what happens with the frustration factor. Here you go. This is what you have. You have boxes like this, filled with adapters. You don't need. And can't sell, can't do anything. I just gotta wait for a telescope to use it for.
Right.
Yep.
So if anybody wants an adapter, call me. I'll give it to you for a song, like $10, $120 precise parts thing. That no promises on the size. I'm just gonna put it in a bag and send it to you. See if it works.
Now, one thing Mark was pointing out, that RCs are great. RCs are great.
They are great.
RCs are really great, but they're a learning curve.
Yep.
They are a learning curve, versus when you're just getting started. Now, if you are willing to put in the time to learn about the scopes, like I say, a Newtonian or a Schmidt or an RC, these catiotrophic and these reflectors, that you need to understand so many of the different steps, such as collimation, which that in itself can just be a headache and a nightmare for someone who just gets started. Just learning how to collimate, depending on what a scope it is. Yeah. RCs,
just to dovetail on what you're talking about, Eric. Just real quick, that the difference between collimation, holding collimation on a refractor versus a newt. I mean, you breathe on it. You look at a newt. You insult a newt from across the room, it'll go out of collimation. Okay. I mean, it's you can take it. Well, I wouldn't say drop a refractor, but you can let a refractor ride in the back of your Jeep going down a bumpy road. As long as you got it in the case, it's not going out of collimation. So
Yeah.
those are some of the things that you need to think about.
Yeah,
Yeah,
time and
because RCs are you have to think about three elements when you have to do collimation with an
Yep.
RC. You've got
Yeah.
the secondary, you've got the primary, and the focuser.
Yep.
You've got to deal
Right.
with
Yep.
when it comes.
Right.
But if you have the patience and are willing to take the time and to search out YouTube videos or work with others from maybe an astronomy, club, or like a Dan,
Yeah.
or contact somebody, it's going to take you some time to figure those out. And to get them going. But once you get them going, they kick out
Yep.
some awesome images. That's
Yeah,
why,
they do.
for the longest, I was thinking about getting an RC, but then
Yeah.
I changed my mind, and then I went back and said, no, I'm just going to get a Schmidt
Yep.
and get an Edge HD.
Hey,
You know?
you know what? Hey, there's nothing wrong
Because
with
I'm
any
comfortable
single-
with it. That's all.
Well,
Because I'm just comfortable with it.
I mean, I'm sorry, Mark. I'm going to throw you under the bus here for a second. Mark, his comfortability range is a lot bigger than most of us. He has 7 different types of scopes. If there was 8 or 9, he'd have them all. I mean,
Right.
I can't. I don't have time. I'm fitty. I don't have time for this. I'm running out of time. I'm closer to the grave than the womb. So I mean, so it's time to kind of crunch down and get this done. And you know what? Although I will say one thing, and I'm going to show you. I did make a change. I made a change.
Well, really?
I'm in the process of making a change. So, just give me 1 second, and I'm going to put this on my other screen so you can see. Yeah, you should be.
You and me both.
I can't put it on that screen, so I'll have to be this
I'm
one.
waiting to see him in a hoop skirt, doing a hula.
No,
Change.
no, not that kind of change.
I gotta ask Mark because he just posted. He has 3 refractors, an Edge, a C11,
Right.
and an Edge 11, and an
Right.
RC.
Right.
Which one out of the refractors, RCs, and Edge? Which one do you feel that you enjoy the most as far as your imaging?
Good question.
And get the most
gonna-
and get the most out.
I'm gonna
just
step
kinda
out on a
curious
limb.
about that.
I'm gonna step out on a limb and say he's gonna say the RC.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna agree with you on that one, but
Yeah.
I ran by a guy who swears about DKs. He did not get to chat with him to find out why. CDKs are pretty cool.
CDKs are pretty cool.
Yeah,
I have
they're
seen
pretty
those,
cool. I've
and they
seen too.
aren't the plane waves? Aren't those CDKs?
Yep.
Yeah.
And Sharpstar just came out with a CDK.
Okay.
I think
Those are really
I
impressive.
think that Tyler just got one. He's another guy that has 15 different types of telescopes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. But I'm gonna
I figured.
let's see if I can do this. All right, ready? Here we go. And I'll minimize this.
Yeah. It's either his 152 refractor or his RC. Yeah.
No.
I kind of figured.
Can you see my screen or no? Can you
No,
not see my
not
screen?
yet. No.
Oh,
Now
you
it's
can't
coming
see
up.
it?
Now we got your whole. Yeah, there you go. Now we
Okay.
got the eagle.
Okay, and I'm moving it to the side.
Yeah.
That's the change. This is Nina. I'm moving the Nina.
Oh, really?
Yep.
You like Nina better?
I'm playing around with it. I find it a lot more easy to use and just as functional. So,
Versus SGP.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to Nina. I'm keeping my 1-year subscription for SGP, but if it doesn't, if this pans out, I will probably end up canceling it. But we'll see. I haven't taken an image sequence with it yet. I'm just setting it up. But the setup is stupid easy.
So I'm assuming that that you can take the values that you got in SGP for certain things like focusers, and you can plug those into this, just
Oh
kind
yeah.
of
Oh yeah.
swapping them back and
You go
forth.
into the
Yeah. Okay.
focuser. I even set up. Did I set it up?
Yeah.
It's not. Well, the Asato is here, but it's not connected because it's not plugged in. But you could have all those steps in there, and the settings are the same, and you can do everything you want.
Yeah.
So
And I think Mark is he's this is his baby. I think he really likes.
I see that.
Yeah.
Don't worry, Mark. I'll be asking you. I may bust your chops, but you know I love you, man. It's all good. But,
Oh yeah, that's yeah. If he didn't love you, he wouldn't be getting any busting of the chops. There would be no love coming your way.
No. If anything, there'd be like I don't know, some crazy person coming my way.
Yeah, because I tell you, I'll agree with you on this one, Dan. Is because the minute I step away from any type from ZWO for anything, I'm gonna end up going to get myself an Eagle and getting Nina.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
if I decide to go and get, say, a Moonlight or a Nightcrawler,
Right.
you know, to use with my
you're
Schmidt or anything, then the AAP is over. You know, it's it. So
you know, if you ever want if you want an Eagle 3Q, I have one right here.
okay, I'll talk to you about it later. You know, but
there you go, right here.
You know, while he's showing that, I can tell you that I watch a lot of different astrophotography YouTube channels.
Oh yeah, same here. Yeah,
there are a lot of people out there that are still plugging into their computers. You know, they've got taking their laptops outside. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I just do not understand why these
Trevor does
going.
it. I think Antoine does it from Galactic Hunter. I think he takes us out with him to the desert.
Yep.
Galactic Hunter, he takes us out to the desert. You know, so there's still quite a few people out there to do it.
You know, there's something about, I guess, the destination. You know, it's not like you know, any one of us three, with the exception of Eric or maybe Simon, is driving anywhere an hour from their home and getting to a nice dark sky. These guys can. And you know, if I was able to travel an hour and get to a portal 2, I'd probably do it. I'd probably do it quite a lot.
Right.
Because I'd be able to get that signal to noise so much quicker than I'm going to get in my backyard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And even though I'm driving 2 hours, those 2 hours would be put into imaging time on Long Island in order to reach the signal to noise that I would be getting at the Portal 2 in less time.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I guess I can consider myself right now, I'm kind of fortunate that right now where I'm living is a Portal 5.
Yep.
And I am like within an hour's drive. I haven't been there yet, but I think I've got my eye on a dark site that's maybe just an hour away at a state park.
Yeah.
Nice.
And you know, so I consider myself really lucky that versus, you know, what you guys have to go through, especially you, Dan, over there in Long Island, you know, where you've got that Portal 8 to deal with. And I know a few of my other Facebook friends, I know like Greg LaMonica, he's like in the heart of Chicago. He's like in Old Town Chicago, downtown. And he's got a Rasa, and he's using that Rasa up like crazy because you gotta shoot F2.
Yeah, absolutely.
To be able to, you know, because 30 seconds is, you know, probably 30 seconds to a minute is probably the best you're gonna get when you're in an 8 or 9 portal.
Yep.
You know, so you need that speed.
Mark just asked a question regarding the Q. The Q, they don't make the Q anymore. Back when the 3 came out, the Eagle 3, there was actually the Eagle 3, the Eagle Q, the Eagle S, and the Eagle Pro. that don't get confused with the Eagle Core. That's a little different. That's strictly for DSLR. That is their, I guess, response to the ASI Air. And that's what that is. But the Eagle Q, it's just a little slower processor. It's got less RAM. It's not as robust as the Pro or the S, but it works good. It works good. Plate solving is a little slow, but overall, if you want something to get your feet wet, I have a used one here with a whole bunch of wires and the 30 amp hour battery and the Eagle cables and all this stuff I'm selling it for a friend. I just tested it out. It works fine. It has SGP, PhD, Plate Solve 2, all the catalogs. Everything's installed already. Don't try and use SGP. She's gonna unauthorized the computer. But
Sure.
But other than that, I mean, it works great. I mean, there's no problem.
Yeah, the nice thing, one of the side benefits with the Eagle is the cable management. You know, I mean it's that right there is a huge plus. You know, that just about everything stays up on top of the scope, except for the one power cable that drops down to my battery.
Yep.
That is sweet. It's very nice. Cable management is just a breeze.
It's key, man. It's key.
Yep. Yeah, I saw a picture on Facebook the other day. A guy was asking people, for help with cable management. He showed a picture of his rig. It looked like a bad sushi experience with octopus at a restaurant. I mean, it was bad. It was bad.
It's like, that's not spaghetti, that's linguine.
Oh my gosh. I mean, it was just a mess. I'm like, that right there would drive me crazy. It would drive me completely bonkers.
You know what the thing is, though? Even with the Eagle, if you're stripping down every night, I don't care how good you are with your cables, things are going to get screwed up. They're going to get screwed up. Unless if you literally I have one set of wires for my focuser and camera. I have one set of wires for this. And they're tied up all together really nice and neat. And you can kind of, that's how I got those, those split threaded cable holders from Alex Tech. Those are really good for that. But you just gotta be very methodical with your cable management. And if you take a look, Alan Mitchell, who was also, we forgot about Alan. Alan was a guest on the show as well, twice I think. But Alan Mitchell has like a 6 or 7 part video on his channel regarding cable management. So if you want some ideas, you want some thoughts, and this is without an Eagle, I think he uses something called a rig runner, which is actually it uses Anderson power poles. If anybody has seen the little black and red kind of connectors that kind of slide in. Actually, it looks like, there we go. It looks like this.
Yeah.
Standard Anderson.
Yep.
Okay, these are the smaller Andersons. They make bigger ones. They make up to 50 millimeters and everything. But it uses
That's more for amperage than anything.
Yeah, but everything is like breaker. So there's like 5 different, or actually 4, 8. I think it goes all the way up to 8 different breaker kind of slots where you can put everything in. Up to, I think, 40 amp, if I remember right. And I know I have one up here somewhere. I have one. Oh, there it is. And he does it in a way where it's really good. This is an 8-channel rig runner. Okay? And you just plug them in, and you just change out these car breakers,
Yeah, your breakers.
And you slide them in.
Breaker or fuses or whatever.
I got, 40, 65, 85, 90. It's got up to like 120 amps. Yeah, it's crazy. So, but you got to have the battery to run it. But hey, that's a good option for those of you that don't want either the Eagle or have the ASI Air or whatever. But it's another option. You can make your own cables. I made my own cables. There's another little guy. There's a USB one. It's a USB cable with a power pole.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah, that's another thing that, you know, as far as accessories and things, is good cables. You know, ZWO does a great job with their cameras and they most of their other equipment, their peripherals and things, but don't rely on their cables.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah,
Those flat cables
go
drive
with
me nuts.
StarTech or there's a couple
Yeah,
of them out there that are really good.
The flat, the flat cables.
Flat cables.
Yeah,
Plus,
the ZWO ones.
they're
Yeah.
too damn long, man. They're
Yeah,
like 25 feet long.
Yeah.
And
They're
so
long.
now you're just bending them up anyway. So
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
you may as
The
well
other
go
thing
on
you can do-
Amazon, like you said. Go to StarTech, buy a couple of 1 foot, 1.5 foot, 2 foot cables, whatever you need, and just have enough to get to your USB slot that you need to get there. It'll make your
Yep.
cable management so much easier.
Oh
You
yeah.
don't have to wind cables back and forth.
Yeah. The other thing that I like is the just this product. This is just Scotch.
It looks like
This is-
electrical tape.
It is.
Oh,
And I just take the nice red electrical tape and wrap it around a few times around the end of the cable, and I can take a nice Sharpie, you know, and mark on it exactly what it is. And this is, you know, electrical tape it's tough, you know, and you can write right on it. So
nice. How you holding up, Scott? I know you got a little allergy issue.
yeah, no, it's upper respiratory. I'll be all right. It's just, you know, kind of sucks,
Yeah, I hear you.
but it's all right. Yeah,
It's alright.
better than I was the other day. Boy, I thought I was gonna hack up my liver.
Yeah.
It was bad.
Better off with gaffer's tape. Gaffer's tape is good too. That stuff is strong as hell.
Yep.
You're never getting it off,
gaffers.
though. You're
Gaffers
never
is
getting it
nice.
off.
Yep.
If it's on there for longer than a month,
Yeah, you're gonna have to cut it off,
yeah, yep.
and that's, you know, an adventure in and of itself. So
I'm about to put in
Ah.
my L Pro into my one-shot color camera, so I got to put that away.
Yep. Yeah, I'd have a lot more problems than just hacking Mark if I did that.
So, getting back to refractors.
Yep.
So we talked about flatteners. We talked about reducers.
Yep.
Are there any others that you have that you want to throw out there, Dan, that you can think of as far as for first timers, as far as first timers equipment they should, you know, get with their telescopes for doing AP?
Well, I know I spoke a little bit about the focuser, obviously.
Yeah, and the focuser, yes.
You know, and I guess
One person was asking Crawford versus RP.
RP.
Yeah,
Yeah.
RP.
yeah,
Rack and pinion really is, to me, the way to go. I think it's more stable.
Yep.
You know, just be
Unless
careful.
you're using a Schmidt.
All rack and, well, I hope, that'd be a very weird rack and pinion to have on a Schmidt. But
I know. I tried
guess-
to do it, and it didn't
yeah,
work.
yeah, like, you know, sometimes people don't listen to people, and
I know.
I'm like, what are you doing? But hey, listen, I've been yelled at 100 times for doing stupid stuff, but you know, hey, listen,
Yeah.
sometimes we gotta make our own mistakes, and sometimes most of the times we listen to people. And people that know what they're doing have made those mistakes before. But sometimes you just kind of, this is going to work. What's the big deal? And you do it. And in your head it works.
Step in
and
it.
then practicality works its way in. And it just doesn't work the way you want it to work. So,
Yeah.
so Crawford could slip. RMP is more stable.
Yeah.
I agree, 100%. Mark, you're right on the money. Yeah.
Now, another thing that I would recommend as far as for new people is basically this is kind of free. And it's going to the internet, and there's certain sites such as astronomy.tools
Hmm.
that you can go and before you buy anything, you just started getting recommendations. And you start just thinking about, okay, what is going to be able to fit, or what's going to be able to match, or what do I expect my image to look like, with the type of telescope that I am thinking of purchasing. I think that is, getting that initial education, get that initial planning it's so much more it's so important. It's just as important because or if it's very very important because this way or can start planning on your budget
Yeah.
for one. you
Yeah.
know um and you also know what you're getting into and what you should expect, to get out of images when you are, going to be starting into this hobby. And another thing you want to think about is, which is very important, is guiding.
Yeah.
And you want to make sure you got the correct guide scope that will match what you have as far as what telescope you're going to purchase, because if you get too small of a guide scope versus your telescope and camera setup, you could end up having guiding errors,
Yeah. Yep.
which and so that's very important. So I would recommend going to astronomy.tools and using a lot of the calculators that they have, and start working with a trusted company, such as Camera Concepts or an OPT or a High Point.
High Point.
And
Yeah.
and High Point is fantastic. That's where I bought my first Schmidt.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they are going to be very helpful. And as long as you're honest with yourself and listen to what they say,
Yeah.
it's going to get you, 70%, 70, 80% the way
Yep.
of where you're going to be. The other part is going to be education and just learning.
Yep. That goes right to the tagline, man.
Yep,
Keep
it does.
educating, keep educating, and that's what
Exactly.
it's all about. And
That's
if
what
you
it's all
don't
about.
and Eric, I think you hit it right on the head. If you don't do your due diligence and educate yourself on what's out there, and to the same point of being critically honest on what your resulted picture wants to look like, what you want it to look like,
Yeah.
you're gonna buy the wrong camera, the wrong telescope, and then you'll be like, "Well, I just spent $2,000 and I'm not getting the result that I want."
That I
Yep.
want, right?
Yeah,
And it's
so
going to sit in the garage.
you're gonna buy.
collecting
You're
And
gonna
dust.
buy.
I don't know that many people who will be pleased to spend $2,000 on camera and telescope and other types of equipment, and then it end up, to Scott's point, in a garage. I don't
Yeah.
care how wealthy you are.
Yeah.
$2,000 is $2,000.
Yep.
And everybody, even the richest man will know what a waste of money is.
Yeah. Yep.
They probably know better than some other than other folks. They know what's going to be a waste of money
Yeah.
versus So you got to really think about these things and
Absolutely.
educate yourself. That's the biggest thing. Educate yourself and be honest with yourself, and don't expect those Hubble photos, or that type of stuff right off the bat.
Yeah.
And another good resource is, and this is a little bit more, it can be free, is hop on AstroBin.
Yeah.
Hop on AstroBin. I think they'd still have a free subscription, or it's very low for if you're not necessarily going to be imaging yet. You can go there and you can plug in to their search and say, okay, if I want to get a William Optics, or I'm going to get a 70, I'm going to get a Schmidt, like a Edge 8, and I want to do this, and I want to get this type of a camera, and you plug that stuff in there, and you hit enter, and it'll give you the images that many people have done with that
Mm-hmm.
combo you're looking at.
Yep.
And that gives you a really good idea of what you could expect. So depending on what your skies are.
And depending how
Because
much
a lot of
time you
it's
want
about
to put
spend-
into it, because
And depending on what time you want to put into it, depending on what your sky conditions are,
I mean, Tegan, who's on the show with us on Friday nights, just put up an image today on his Astrophotography page. He put 40 hours into this image, and it looks awesome. But you just got to remember that, this isn't, taking a snapshot and going home. This could be multiple filters. This could be one shot color. This could be multiple nights. Could be multiple months, depending on how bad your weather is. I mean, I keep on using the picture I have behind me. This is 27 hours over 6 months because I have crap weather in New York.
Right.
So every minute I had, I was taking, granted the heart kind of went behind the house, so I only had a limited window to shoot this thing. But, 26 hours. It took me like forever at 3 hours a night,
Well, the other thing that's really important. It really doesn't matter how good your optics are, how much money you spend on your camera, how what kind of quality filters you've got. I mean, you could have $20,000 in scope, cameras, filters, computer, this and that. If you got a crap mount, you're all done.
Yeah.
You have to. I say this to people all the time now. I say spend exactly as much money as you can on as much as you can on a mount without winding yourself up in divorce court. And the mount is everything. I spent probably the better part of 15 years in the building industry. And I've worked as a framer, I've worked as a trim carpenter, cabinet maker, this and that. When I'm telling you something, it doesn't matter how nice the windows are. It doesn't matter what color the paint is. It doesn't matter. It makes no difference what kind of drapes you've got hanging in the windows. If your foundation is shoddy, it ain't none of it's going to matter. You got to have a good foundation.
Exactly.
You got to have
Exactly,
a good foundation.
and the mount is exactly that. It's the foundation of everything else.
Exactly it.
Everything is built right off of that.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
So
And people, they look at mounts. They're like, well, why would I spend $3,000 on this mount when I can get this one that will track just as good for $850?
It's not as
Well, I'll tell you what,
it ain't gonna track.
go
this
to an
as good.
astronomy club, and look at, have somebody, go look at the observatory ones. Look at the ones that are sitting on piers under domes. I guarantee you, they're not $2,000 mount. They're probably $20,000 mount. Not that you have to spend that much,
No.
but I mean, what's the one that everybody's excuse me, over the moon right now? Is it the 6, the EQR6?
The 6R
Scott,
is the
6R?
Is kind of like the entry level, I guess you could say, entry level Sirius. I guess I would say. And then the one that people are really going crazy on the 70G and the 8R. Those two are the biggest wanted sellers right now. Unless if you're a Celestron loyalist, and then you're looking at the CGXL line. But other than that, I mean, the iOptrons are making a lot of headway. I remember when they came out with the Cube, and we were like, what is this piece of garbage? I mean, what is this?
Yeah.
And, they turned out to, they got some great mounts now, and they got some really cool stuff coming out. And, they really made a name for themselves. They made a nice niche for them in the mount area of astrophotography. And let's not forget, even though it's not as popular, I guess, as the Ioptrons and the Skywatchers, but let's not forget the Paramounts, the MITs.
Oh yeah.
The MITs are the software bisque. Oh yeah.
Yeah, don't
Big
forget
time.
about those guys, because those guys get to the point where you're at the 5,000 and over range for mounts, where you're thinking, okay, you know what? It's not the MIT's semi-portable, but if you get the MX2 or something like that, those things aren't going anywhere. Those are going to go on a permanent pier and stay there until you sell the house. So
pretty much. Because I tell you, for me, to your point, the Ioptron, I moved away from the CGX to the Ioptron, and I got the CEM at the 60, and I absolutely love it. And you can travel with it, and everything. It's not light, but you can travel with it with a tri-pier and everything. But the other one is right here where I live, just right down the road from where I live here in Illinois, is AP, is astrophysics.
Yep.
That would probably be
the Mach.
The mount that I might, the Mach 2.
Yep.
Or, something like that, or the GTO is probably what I'm going to end up putting on my pier when I'm at that point. If it's not going to be like a Rainbow or a harmonic drive mount, it's going to be an AP, most likely.
Yeah.
They're really good.
And then I am going to be out, because, and then, then I might start having to look at, I'll be peddling because they're not cheap.
No.
And there's a waiting list for those bad boys.
Yeah.
But there's a reason why, because they got some great quality.
Yep. You know what you do? You get on the wait list now, you put a $2,000 deposit on it, and then you just wait for it to come out. By the time, if you save like $10 a week, you'll have it paid off by the time it comes out.
Time it comes out. Exactly. Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, but let's not also forget. Let's not shoot ourselves in the foot. We forgot one other free option to help you self-educate, and that's us. We're on twice a week. We're on now 9 days of the month. We're on live. So that's a lot. That's like a third of the month we're online. So 9 days times 2 hours, so 18 hours a month we're online. And don't forget, and Scott, I'm gonna go over your face again. Sorry.
Sorry.
Don't forget. Oh man, I sent everybody their
yes, you did.
credentials for their emails.
I've got mine
Everything's
set.
active. Good. So it's the first name followed by AstroWorldWeb.com. So Dan at AstroWorldWeb, Eric at Scott at, or Jason, Simon, Tyler, and Tegan. We all have our own email addresses. So or if you just want a generic email address, you could always go to info@AstroWorld, and that I'll get, but I can forward it to anybody that you want to talk to. So.
And we're more than happy, we love this stuff.
Yeah.
So we're more than happy to chat all day about this type of stuff if we have the time.
And the thing is, I mean, we have, 7 of us now? If I don't know the answer to something, I can push you to somebody that might do it. Same thing with the rest of the guys. They can push you. If they don't know the answer and they can't figure it out, we have a lot of resources that we can kind of pool together to help. And it's nice to have this kind of arena, whether that be Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, Facebook, whatever. I think that it's going to be a great thing. And I think the website is turning into more and more the central hub for AstroWorld. So keep an eye on that in the next coming weeks, because I'm going to be putting up more and more content and switching some things around. So
Nice.
Yeah. And hopefully Scott can help me with Eric's face and get it not squished. I think he just muted himself because.
Yeah, I don't want to cough in your ear.
Oh,
Did I? Yeah.
Appreciate it.
But yeah, no, the website is definitely a good source.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's
It
the
needs
hub.
more stuff, but it's a work in progress. So please,
Yep.
I am not a web designer by any means, but I do what I can in order to get stuff up
Yeah.
there. So
Yeah, and I know that my wife is going to be taking a peek at the site. She's just been neck deep in projects.
Yeah. No,
So
absolutely. We gotta do what we gotta do.
Yep.
But yeah. So just keep an eye on the website and check it out. Send us emails.
Absolutely.
Send us questions. We definitely get back to you. All right.
So,
All right.
I think we're rolling up on 10:40.
Yep.
wow.
Yep. And I think it's time for me to take my next dose of Flonase because. So I gotta say something real quick. I bought an Oculus.
Oh, really?
Oh, you're going VR, huh?
I bought an Oculus and I'm so addicted to it. I originally bought it for the workout thing. It's called Supernatural. That you kind of play. It plays music and you're hitting balls and doing lunges and stuff like that. And they had me doing lunges. I guess I'm really in bad shape, like worse shape than I thought I was. So I did a
Little sore, are we?
12-minute workout. I couldn't walk for 3 days.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
Yeah, 12 minutes
Yep.
till I tore
Yeah.
up my thighs. My thighs were shot.
Yep.
But
Yeah,
but I
if you
played
can- if you can
Vader.
get it.
What's that?
If you can get it, look for the Fruit Ninja on the Oculus. I don't know if they have it available. It's pretty popular, but
Okay.
it's a stupid amount of fun in VR.
Okay, Fruit Ninja.
Yeah.
I'll have to look it up.
Fruit
But I
Ninja,
did
yeah.
play Vader Immortal.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, a lot of fun. Beat
it's not-
Saber is a good exercise.
Yeah, I heard.
That's
I
another
heard,
one.
Yeah, but Vader
That'll kick your
Immortal,
butt.
I was a little upset with because it's serialized. So it's like you play an hour and then the episode ends. So you got to wait for the next episode. And I think
Yeah.
I'm up to episode 3 now. So, so I finished episode 1. Had some cool lightsaber matches. And it's kind of cool. It's a cool thing. It's cool because everything's not. I don't have a wire. I don't have any like things kind of.
Right.
But I want to get the thing I can kind of walk around a little bit. So, but
More haptics.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's all I gotta say. But all right.
Cool.
So I think that's about it. I am sweating and I need another drink because I'm out of wine. And Eric, do you have anything else that you want to say before we wrap it up?
No, I think we're good. Again, thank you guys all for all the support you guys have been giving us. We really appreciate it.
Yep.
The website is out there, and it's a good that's been great, Dan. So thank you for putting that together for us, man. That's been awesome that you've been doing that. And don't forget about the Southern Sky Challenge. So that's the first one was a lot of fun, and this one's going to be at a Carina, so which is one of the great nebulae down there in the southern hemisphere that we just can't get. There's certain things that we just can't get up here, and vice versa.
Yep.
It's kind of crazy to think about the Statue of Liberty nebula
Yep.
in the southern hemisphere and not up here.
I
But
don't
stuff like that.
understand it.
You
So
know,
New York should have been down there.
exactly.
Or
But
New Jersey,
but besides
depending
that, yeah, no kidding. But besides that, no, and just don't forget, just keep imaging and keep educating, man. Just like you keep saying.
Yep.
So we just got to keep working at it.
Yep.
And don't forget, reach out to us.
Yeah.
I'm more than happy to answer questions.
Yep. Mr. Scott, anything for our special viewers?
Ditto.
Ditto. All right, that was nice and
yeah.
easy, short and sweet. I love it. All right, so that being said, guys and girls, thank you so much for watching. And again, just like Eric said, thank you so much for the love. We're almost at 810 subscribers right now. So
Nice.
we're keeping on growing. We grew this month by adding another member of the team, Tegan.
Yep.
So, and I'm
Great
looking
resource.
to add one more. Actually, I'm looking to add as many as we can. But, you know, I'd like to, you know, maybe lower the testosterone level a little bit. Maybe have some of the female imagers come in, because that would be great to have them on the show as well. I just
We got to
don't
get a
want-
hold of Helena.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Helena and
Or
Stacy.
Amy.
Yeah.
Or Amy. Exactly, Amy.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what's going on with her. She hasn't had a video up in like 2 months. I think her latest video is 2 months old. She usually doesn't go that long.
Maybe she's just chilling. She put out a
Yeah, she might
crap
be.
load of material and in a relatively short period of time, and it's quality stuff. If you haven't checked it out,
Yeah.
go check out Amy Astro.
Yep.
Really good stuff. Stacy Downton also, Astro Stace. And who else? Who was the other one I'm missing? I don't know
Helen.
if
Who? Helena?
Helena.
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 Yeah. Yeah, just as a real quick plug, I finally put out another YouTube video just
Oh, you
earlier
did?
this week. Yeah, of my New Mexico trip. So,
How come I didn't get?
if you guys haven't,
Maybe I didn't check the bell. Maybe I didn't check
Yeah.
because I didn't get them. I
make sure
didn't
you
get
check
the
the bell.
notification.
So, Astro with Eric. And I'm, like I said, I'm going to be working on a kind of like a Schmidt for Dummies, you know, type video.
All right,
Because,
that'll be-
you know, there's me. That would be me. But, you know, that I'm going to be working on. So, keep an eye on that. So, that's going to be my next project as far as for YouTube.
Yeah, and if you want to go to anybody's channel, right on the AstroWorld channel site, there's all of our contributors right across the bottom. So you go Astro with Eric, Astro Playground, Lazy Astronomer, Astro for Dummies, all of them are on there. So all 6 of us have our own channels. So if you want to find out who they are and where they are, the easy way to do it is go to AstroWorld, and they're all right there for you. You won't have to search
Yep.
for anything.
Yep. And I too just put another video up on the
Yeah, you
the
did.
Lost Mondi.
Yep.
Yeah, the Lost Mondi tripod with the
Yep.
MAL and the heavy duty tripod and the JMI wheelie bar. And
Nice.
so there's a full breakdown on that.
Nice.
So, yep.
All right, fellas. Well, that's it for me. Thank you. Let me get my mouse. Thank you, everybody, for joining in. And as always, if I can find the thing, where's the closing? There it is. As always, guys and girls, remember, keep imaging, keep educating, clear skies, and we'll see you Friday night again on AstroWorld Beginners Q&A. So come hang out with us again, even though all you guys and girls are not beginners anymore, or at least most of you aren't. But bring some more beginners in, bring some more people down. Thanks for coming down. Yep, George, that's a wrap. Good night, Jim. Good night, George, John, Mark, all you guys. Thanks so much. Have a good night. We'll see you on Friday. Take care.
Clear skies, everybody.
Bye for now.